when our deputies show up, is there any procedure, policy, training manual especially, that we have here that teaches our deputies how to interact with people who are photographing public officials in public?
Our deputies are well aware of how to handle those situations. This is nothing new to them. They deal with it every day. And not only on car stops, but out on regular calls. So they know what people's Second Amendment rights are. They know what their First Amendment rights are. So they're trained on it constantly. They get legal opinions handed to them pretty persistently in roll call. They've been talked to about, even through the prosecutor's office, about what someone's allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. And so they're pretty up to speed on what can be done.
Excellent. Next point is, you said that they are notified of court cases that line up. I'd like to have those via public records request. I would like to have the updated training manual. We had one from last year. You said you were going to redo it.
It's the one you have is still currently the one that it is in place.
Okay. I also want to make the arrangements that we talked about last year.
Mike,
go ahead.
We'll get you everything you want. Is there any way you can put it in writing so we get you the correct information that you're asking for?
Pretty easily, I want it all, because here's what we're going to do.
That's too broad.
Okay. There's a way to narrow it down, and that is I am allowed to come into here, look at everything you got, record it, photograph it, and then request what specific pages.
That's not accurate.
Then we'll go over your head to the guy who told me that. And he said, I'm allowed to come in here, I'm allowed to go through your stuff, pick out what I want, since I have to pay for it, pick out what I want copies of, because I don't know what you have.
Well, that's just not, they're not giving you accurate information. If you read the public records laws, we're not required to just open the books, because we can't just open the books. There's things that are protected both by state and federal laws that we're not allowed to give to you.
Okay, I just had to go through you first.
Yeah, absolutely. So to assist us in assisting you,
correct,
to provide you with what you actually are asking for, we're asking that you assist us by putting it in writing so we can go down line item by line item and provide you with the things that you want.
Mike, we'll give you everything that you're asking for. We would ask of you that whatever you're asking for, you put it in writing and be specific as to what you want, so we can make sure we get the right information for you.
I understand your request, and I will pass it on up the chain. I was supposed to go through you first. I feel better that I did, because now I'm a very patient reporter, and this has gone from last year to this year. It'll probably go on for years, and eventually it will be a determination of either I'm allowed to review the records and then see what it is that I want, because I don't know what's there. If it doesn't exist, I can't ask for it. But if it exists and I don't know it's there, I can't ask for it. So it's a double-edged thing. And eventually there will be, probably in my estimation, an office set up for public records review that will have access to everything that's not redacted. And although it is not the most funnest thing doing paperwork, this isn't the first department that's had to put up with unwelcomed public records requests.
We have all the public records requests are welcome.
Okay.
We're transparent as can possibly be here.
If you're not anyone that asks for them, we're used to doing them.
All right. Then I want them all.
Well, you can't say you want them all. If you're familiar with the law, like you say you are, you know that you have to be specific on what you want to ask for.
Okay.
So we'll be happy to abide by the law, and if you can give us specific records you're looking for, we'll be happy to make sure you get those.
Next thing on the list is, so we are on the same page, back to the point where the review of the documents that are publicly recorded records here for review before a request is made is the only thing that we have actually disagreed on.
We haven't really disagreed.
Not really.
We told you we'll give you access to whatever you're asking for.
Right.
It has to be in writing so we can get those specific records.
Okay, that's a sticking point. It doesn't have to be in writing.
No, I think what the major's trying to say is, yes, we understand you can verbally ask us for records.
Correct.
But we are allowed to ask you to place that in writing to help assist us, because if you just come in here and say, I want to see all your records, we're going to just commonly go back to our offices and write down a response and say that that's too broad of a request. Thank you, you need to be more specific.
We are allowed to ask for more specific, like what are you exactly looking for, so we can get the information to you. So if you tell us what you're looking for, we'll be happy to get it for you.
You're allowed to ask. I'm not required to answer.
And again, we're not required to fulfill that if it's too broad.
So I will go over your head to someone that can tell you that this is what you have to do. And when they tell you, I don't want this to be a black mark on your career, that you have your first complaint, your First Amendment violation, is something that could have been easily worked out if you just go and just talk to the other people and say, gee, did you tell Skidmore that he can just come in and look through this stuff and pick out what he wants? And he says, yeah, sure, I don't mind. Then the problem is solved without anybody having to do anything more official. Or not.
It's a great country we live in, isn't it, Mike?
It's amazing.
You get to file your complaints. We have a legal process to follow, and we're protected by that just as much as you are as a private citizen, and the laws are set there. It's a great country we live in, and by all means, you have every right to exercise what you believe is right, and we have our rights too, to make sure that the laws are being followed also, and we have our legal counsel, and we'll do what we have to do. We don't. That's not our goal, but
who's your legal counsel?
Prosecutor's office.
Major Massey referenced court decisions that were passed out at lineup. I would like to have a copy of all court records passed out at lineup for the last 6 months, just to see what court records were passed out at lineup since around Christmas time, I suppose.
So from December of last year to present?
Sure. Captain Sweat said that the SOP, which was going to be changed, was not changed, so the SOP that I picked up last year is still...
That's not accurate. What I said is we have not reissued any new SOP since you got a copy. Doesn't mean that we're not still in the process of making changes and whatnot, but they're not until the sheriff officially signs off draft material.
Is that the same stuff from last year? They're not done with it yet?
No. Mike, there's 595 pages. It takes a little bit of time. If you remember, I gave it to you a couple
I do recall.
Yeah.
And we are in the process of getting our department certified through accreditation through CLIA. So we are in the process.
CLIA?
Yes.
Oh, good old CLIA. We know them. So, also, Captain Sweat referred to some law. He said it was a state law and therefore it was not available.
No, that's not accurate. What I said was we are not the keeper of that record.
Okay.
That would be the state of Ohio would be the keeper of the Ohio Revised Code. If you can go to the website, it's under ohiorevisedcode.com or ORC, just Google ORC. It gives you the entire administrative and criminal code. It would be in the criminal section under weapons. I mean, I can, if you want to leave me your email, I can give you the direct link to that. But again, we're not the keeper of that record.
Not the keeper of that record. It's just a law that you referred to that even if I was to possess a weapon inside of the courthouse, there is some law that says that I'm wrong, even though the courthouse is public property, as public as a public sidewalk.
Absolutely.
Therefore, I would want to check the accuracy of that. So other than those two things, until I get clarification about coming in here and spending hours and hours and hours videotaping every record that you guys have to see what you got, then I would say thank you very much, and I appreciate the interview.
Anytime, Mike.
Absolutely.
Big Mike 101 202 for photography is not a crime.